If you've ever looked around at what other people are doing online and thought, why does it feel so easy for them to get attention and so hard for me? I want you to know you're not imagining it. But I do want you to stop and think about answering two questions. What do I offer? And who do I offer it to? What you sell and who you sell it to dramatically changes the problems you face in your business, especially when it comes to visibility and conversions. We talk about content and consistency all the time, but we don't talk enough about how different markets, different audiences behave and what that means for your strategy. There's a very real difference between businesses that sell to consumers and businesses that sell expertise and services, solutions to other businesses. When you understand that difference, you'll stop comparing yourself to the wrong group and start working on a strategy. Let's start with visibility. If you talk about sports or entertainment, pop culture, or politics, or just general commentary, it's much easier to get eyeballs. People are already emotionally invested in those topics. They want to listen, they want to react, they want to agree and disagree, argue, laugh, feel validated. That kind of content fits easily into someone's day because it requires very little effort. It allows for mindless scrolling. You can consume it while distracted or tired or halfway paying attention. And because of that, platforms reward it and audiences share it quickly. These types of subject matters are built for mass attention, and attention comes faster because the barrier to entry for the audience is low. Now, here's the part that often gets glossed over. While visibility may come easier in those spaces, conversion is often much harder. When people follow commentary, they're usually following the topic more than the person. Their loyalty lives with the conversation being had, not necessarily the creator. Many of those creators are also selling products or services they don't personally create or own. They're affiliates and brand partners or sponsors, and that creates some distance. The audience may enjoy the content, but when it comes time to buy, the trust factor drops. The recommendation feels optional, and the purchase feels disconnected. And if something else catches their attention tomorrow, they move on without much of a thought. That type of audience is fickle by nature. High visibility doesn't automatically create buying behavior. Now let's talk about B2B. If you sell to business leaders or organizations or professionals, visibility feels like an uphill battle. Your audience is smaller on purpose. Your content asks more from the listener. It requires focus and reflection and sometimes uncomfortable honesty. People are not casually consuming it while scrolling for entertainment. They're engaging with it when they have a problem to solve or a question to answer. That means growth is slower and visibility is more difficult to come by. That can mess with your head if you're comparing yourself to creators in mass consumer spaces. But here's the trade-off. Remember, audiences convert more easily when trust is established. Well, in B2B, people are often seeking expertise. They want guidance. They want clarity. They want someone who understands their situation and can help them move forward. Most B2B sellers are offering their own services, their own products, their own intellectual property. That ownership, that matters. It creates alignment. When someone buys, they believe the person selling understands the problem deeply and is accountable for the outcome. That layer of trust changes everything for you. So, what does all of this mean for you strategically? Well, It means you need to diagnose the real problem before you go trying to fix anything. If you have a visibility problem, posting more content is rarely the answer. You need to go in search of your audience. You need to ask where they work, where they learn, where they relax, where they gather. That might not mean social media. It might mean professional associations or conferences, industry publications, local organizations or panels, podcasts, private communities, things like that. Visibility grows faster when you enter rooms that already contain the people you want to reach. Now, that's going to take some work to research, but it's worth it because waiting for the algorithm to deliver them to you is a slow and frustrating strategy, especially in B2B. Now, if you have a conversion problem, visibility is not your issue. Credibility is. You need a credibility strategy that is built with your audience, not performed at them. That means clear positioning and consistent expertise, real examples, and offers that align with what you're talking about publicly. Your audience needs to believe that when you recommend something, buying it is the most logical next step. Not an urgent step, not pressured into it, logical. Once you earn that level of credibility, protect it at all costs. Be selective about what you sell. Be thoughtful about the partnerships you enter into. And be careful about what ideologies you stand behind. Credibility compounds when it stays intact, and it erodes quickly when it's treated casually. Here's the bottom line. Different businesses face different challenges. High visibility doesn't guarantee sales, and low visibility does not limit your potential. Your job is to understand which problem you're actually having. If visibility is the issue, go find your people. And if conversions is the issue, strengthen your credibility. And when you build trust that converts, treat it like the asset it is. Because attention comes and goes, but credibility, that's what builds businesses. All right, y'all, that's it for this week's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast or come watch the podcast over here on YouTube. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.